This presentation is an introduction to the ammunition package label. It is intended to provide you with an overview of package labels, their characteristics, and how they are created and used. Pallet labels are placed on pallets to identify what's on those pallets. The pallet labels can then be scanned by a portable scanner in order to collect data for inventory, pick, stuff, receipt, and location change operations. Let's take a look at what's on a pallet label. There are two kinds of information: a barcode, which can be scanned with a portable scanner, and human-readable information. The same information is contained in both the barcode and the human-readable form. We'll discuss each piece of information on the barcode in turn. Let's start with the package type, in this case a pallet, which is indicated by a standard 2-character code. I'll discuss this in more detail later in this training video. This is the total quantity of the material on the pallet, along with the unit of issue. This is the barcode serial number, which is a unique number for this particular pallet. This is the weight in the cube of the pallet and its contents. This is the stock number, the DOTIC, and the quantity of material on the pallet for this particular stock number. This is the hazard ID, which is also sometimes known as a UN number. This is the lot number and the total quantity of that lot on this pallet. This is a list of the serial numbers on this pallet. This label indicates how many labels it takes to contain the information for this pallet and which label this is in that series of labels. We'll come back to this idea later. And finally, these characters are called companion codes, and they help you make sure that when a pallet has two labels on it, so that a pallet can be scanned regardless of how it is stacked, that those labels are the same. Again, we'll come back to this concept in a few minutes. I would now like to walk you through each element of the data on the label. We'll start with the package type. Most of the time you'll be scanning pallets, so the package type will be PL, which stands for pallet. However, you may also see labels with some of the following package types. Also notice that on most labels, the package type is spelled out next to the barcode serial number. This is the package quantity and unit of issue. The package quantity is the total quantity of material on the pallet. The unit of issue is most commonly EA for each. However, you may see other units of issue, like those shown here. In unusual situations where a single pallet or a package contains items which have different units of issue, the letters MUI will stand for multiple units of issue. I want to be very clear about the package type and the units of issue because it can be confusing. Let's say that we have a label for a pallet. And on this pallet are 20 boxes of things whose unit of issue is boxes. Then this is how the label will look. So we have one pallet which contains 20 boxes of material. The barcode serial number is created electronically by the computer at the time a barcode label is created. The barcode serial number is a unique number which can identify a particular pallet or package. The barcode serial number is composed as follows: 2 characters identifying the type of package, the date that the label was created, the time that the label was created down to hundredths of a second, 2 digits picked at random, and 2 characters indicating how many labels it takes to hold the data for this package and which label this is in that series. The package weight and cube are optional fields. meaning that not all package labels will have them. The weight and cube fields represent the total weight and cube of the entire pallet or package and its contents. The weight and cube can be in English units of pounds and cubic feet, as shown here, or they may also be in metric units. The next line on the barcode label displays the stock number, the DOTIC, and the quantity. The stock number might be an NSN, as shown in this first example, or it might be a non-standard part number, as shown in the bottom example. The DOTIC is an optional field, so some labels may not display a DOTIC. The hazard ID, also known as the UN number, is an optional field. Some labels may not display the hazard ID. The lot number and quantity are optional fields. Package labels for serialized items which have no lot number will not display the lot number line on the label. Serial numbers are also an optional field and will be displayed if the material on the label is serialized. Next, I want to talk about the label count field. The label count field tells me how many labels are needed to hold the pallet or package information. It also tells me which label this is in that series. The label count is also contained as part of the barcode serial number. The label count can perhaps best be illustrated by an example. Here is a label containing 20 serialized items. All 20 serialized items easily fit on a single pallet label. Now let's say that we wanted to put 30 serial numbers on a label. So far so good, but what if we needed to put 50 serial numbers on a label? 50 serial numbers won't fit on a single label, and so the label making software automatically splits up the serial numbers into two labels. The first label contains as many serial numbers as will fit on a label, in this case 44. The second label contains the remaining serial numbers, in this case 6. Let's take a closer look at the two barcodes for our example quantity of 50. What I want to draw your attention to is the label count displayed at the bottom of each label. The first label displays 1 of 2 in the label count. The second label displays label 2 of 2 in the label count. Also note that 1 of 2 and 2 of 2 are reflected in the barcode serial numbers. The barcode serial numbers for each label are identical except for the 1 of 2 and 2 of 2 notation. The serial numbers can be spread over as many as 9 labels if needed. That amounts to almost 400 serial numbers on a pallet, depending upon the length of each serial number. This provides us with the opportunity to discuss companion codes, which are shown here. The companion codes make it easy to recognize what labels belong together on a pallet. Note that these labels, which all belong together on the same pallet, all have the same companion code. Another reason you will have more than one label on a pallet is that pallets should normally have an identical label or set of labels on each of 2 adjacent sides. This makes it more likely that you can reach labels for scanning, regardless of how the pallets are stacked. While the pallet shown in this picture may not be typical, most pallets must have identical labels on both adjacent sides, and those identical labels will have the same companion code. Labels like the one shown here might contain multiple lot numbers, or even multiple stock numbers. Package labels are printed on special label printers, which use specialized ribbons and label stock. Printers are available in both desktop and portable models. Printing labels requires specialized software. For desktop computers, the Joint Munitions Barcode Labeler application, or Jumble, allows you to create ammo package labels. For handheld scanners, the MTMS-FM mobile label reprint application allows you to print labels on desktop or portable printers. There are a number of ways to attach labels to the material or its packaging. The labels have a self-adhesive which is appropriate for attachment to smooth, clean surfaces. The labels may be stapled to wooden pallets or boxes. The labels also have small punch holes near the upper right-hand corner, so they can be attached to material with a nylon zip tie. There are also some spray-on adhesives which may work in some circumstances. Finally, there are still some package labels in the stockpile which are non-standard. Some of the non-standard labels can still be used, but often after scanning, the scanner will automatically detect a non-standard label and prepare a new, correct label for printing. This presentation has been an introduction to the ammunition package label. Thank you for your attention.